session 124 of our Torah studies. And we have come to the 10th commandment that said, "Thou shalt not covet." And part of the not coveting, part of the belongings that one should not covet is also what belongs to Yahuwah. And what belongs to Yahuwah is holy. And humanity must not covet it. It must not keep it away from Yahuwah. What belongs to Yahuwah, He is a jealous God, must be given to Him. And in the way that He wants His stuff to be handled, we must be obedient in that way. Because not only for the priests in biblical times were there specific ways in which to serve Yahuwah and to carry the stuff from one camp to the next camp while they were traveling through the wilderness, but there's also so much spiritual and messianic prophecy and significance and relevance in every of these commandments, every single one of them for our lives today. So we're going to continue looking at the holy objects of the tabernacle and the temple to find Messiah and to find pearls and treasures of Yahuwah's kingdom in all of these ancient commandments, of ancient rituals and ancient instructions that we don't even really understand because we have no idea what it means to live in a camp and to have priests and to have a tabernacle and to have holy objects of God in the temple. We have no idea. But we learn slowly and surely, step by step. Every day we learn more about this kingdom of this God that gave these commandments. So, Numbers 7 verse 9. While Moses was giving out to all the different tribes, he didn't give any to the sons of Kohath, because the sons of Kohath, to theirs was the service of the holy objects. The sons of Kohath had to carry the holy objects on their shoulders. Quite beautiful. You know by now that the sons of Levi has been anointed by Yahuwah to be the priests that would serve Him in the tabernacle, in the temple, regarding all the services, all the sacrifices, handling all the holy objects, the set-apart objects that was made for specific use. And Levi himself, the son of Jacob, remember he was one of the 12 sons of Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel. And Levi had 3 sons, Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. Now, Kohath, I'm going to spell this for you, Kohath, Kohath. The sons of Kohath specifically was given the work to carry the holy objects on their shoulders. Can you already see something? Imagine carrying something that is set apart for use in God's tabernacle only. Something that is hardly ever seen by the normal people in the camp. And you, as the son of Kohath, has the privilege, not only the job, but the amazing privilege to carry God's holy objects on your shoulder, right next to your face. And you can rub your cheek against it. It's amazing. And it's amazing also that the meaning of Kohath in the Hebrew, Strong's H6955, is it's the definition to ally yourself, in the sense of uniting yourself in agreement to support another. Now look at this. They were given the work. I don't know. When Levi had his 3 sons and he named the one son Kohath, which means agreement to support another, agreement to ally yourself to another, agreement in the sense of uniting with another. When he gave that name to Kohath, do you think that he had any idea that one day this son of his, the children, the seed of Kohath, would be supporting the holy objects, uniting themselves, allying themselves by carrying the holy objects of God on their shoulders? It's amazing how the names are always so prophetic. Numbers 3:29. The families of the sons of Kohath shall pitch on the side of the tabernacle southwards. All right, so where the tabernacle was, you remember there was about 3 million people that came out of Egypt. So the camp was huge. But look at where the sons of Kohath, these people that is uniting and agreeing to support, where they are pitching their tents. They're not pitching their tents far away from the tabernacle. No, they're pitching it right on the side, on the south side of the tabernacle. Absolutely amazing. And this is where they've got easy access. They are right next to the tabernacle. So whenever, you remember, whenever the cloud moved, that was above the camp, then Moses would give the alarm and everyone would start packing up and everyone would follow the cloud. First the priests that were carrying the Ark of the Covenant, and then like the sons of Kohath that was carrying the holy objects on their shoulders, and then the tribe of Judah, and then all the other tribes. And so they followed the cloud. Wherever the cloud led, that's where the camp went. So the sons of Kohath was pitching their tents right next to the tabernacle. The moment that cloud starts moving, they would start packing up the holy objects. So Exodus 40 verse 36, when the cloud was taken up from the tabernacle, the children of Israel went onwards in all their journeys. And whose work was it to move quickly and pack up everything and carry the holy objects on their shoulders, wherever the cloud leads them? That was the work of the sons of Kohath. Joshua 21:20, and the families of the children of Kohath, the Levites, which remained of the children of Kohath, even they had the cities of their lot out of the tribe of Ephraim. So by the time the wilderness journey was over and Joshua took Israel into the promised land and he started dividing the land up amongst the tribes, the Levites were basically given inheritance with all the tribes. They didn't actually own any valuable objects or land or houses. Remember, they always had to serve the rest of the camp and be the priest between Yahuwah and the people. So specifically from the Levites, the children of Kohath, who carried everything on their shoulders, they were living with the tribe of Ephraim. And that's very significant. Sorry. You remember that the tribe of Ephraim, the two sons of Joseph, Ephraim and Manasseh, who were basically half-breeds, half Gentile, half Egyptian and half Hebrew, and Joseph was scattered into Egypt. And although his sons wasn't full-blooded Hebrew, seed from Abraham, Isaac and Jacob, Ephraim actually received the firstborn blessing that was originally supposed to be Reuben's, but because Joseph was the firstborn of Jacob and his beloved wife Rachel, the firstborn blessing had to go to Joseph. But even Joseph, Jacob skipped Joseph and he gave it to Ephraim. So that firstborn blessing came onto the half-breed Egyptian scattered son of Joseph that would eventually be scattered all over the earth, the tribe of Ephraim. The house of Israel scattered all over. But in the last days, God himself, through the hand of the Messiah, would regather them from every tribe, nation and tongue. And it's amazing how the sons of Kohath, that unites themselves with God to carry his holy objects in service to God, serving Israel, how they would actually live amongst the cities of Ephraim. I absolutely love that. So, the sons of Kohath, they were serving the camp of fellow believers. They were being loyal and eager servants of the Most High. They were doing hard work. Listen, if we start looking at all the utensils of the tabernacle, you'll see that most of them was made out of solid gold. How heavy was it to carry in the heat of the sun, in the warm wilderness, in the hot sand, to carry those heavy objects on their shoulders. So it was hard work, but it was the most holy work. Wow, to carry God's stuff on your shoulders and to be able to see it and touch it and smell it and have it next to you. That's absolutely amazing. So this was the kind of attitude that the sons of Kohath had. Joshua 21:26. All the cities were their suburbs for the family of the children of Kohath that remained. Amazing, we looked at how Kohath, with all their willingness to serve God and carry his holy objects, were living in the cities of Ephraim. But not only that, God went even a bit further to give us the prophetic picture of how there were 10 cities given to the sons of Kohath so that they could live there. Ephraim, living within the cities of Ephraim, the 10 lost tribes, but even living in 10 cities. And we know 10 is the significant number that talks to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Ephraim, the 10 lost tribes, they became like lepers. Remember, lepers were always seen as the dirty people, the people that were outside the camp, that's not inside the camp. The lepers were lost to the covenant. The lepers are the people scattered all over the earth, the mixed breed of Joseph and Egypt. But those 10 cities, or those 10 lepers, or those 10 lost tribes today, are still being served by the sons of Kohath, the people that are willing to carry God's heavy but holy objects on their shoulders to make sure that the next camp would be set up right for the sons of Israel. Remember the 10 lepers in the New Testament? Remember, they had to go to the temple and present themselves to the priests at the temple, because the temple service, the priestly holy service of God, all through the Bible, all the New Testament is holy to God. And we have to come into this priestly understanding so that we can understand the kingdom of God and we can have respect and reverence for all these commandments. Okay. Numbers 4 from verse 1. And Jehovah spoke unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, Take the sum of the sons of Kohath from among the sons of Levi, after their families, by the house of their fathers. All right, so Moses and Aaron, according to the commandment of God, had to now calculate and make the sum of all the sons of Kohath according to their families. So out of the tribe of Levi comes the family of Kohath. And then out of the family of Kohath comes all the different nieces and nephews and brothers and sisters. So the sons of Kohath had to be calculated, had to be counted by Moses and Aaron according to their families and according to the house of their fathers. All right? And they had to be counted from 30 years old and upward, even unto 50. So between 30 and 50, the sons of Kohath were the set-apart priests that were doing the carrying of the shoulders, that kind of work for Yahuwah. All that enter into the host to do the work in the tabernacle of the congregation. This shall be the service of the sons of Kohath in the tabernacle of the congregation about the most holy things. When the camp sets forward, Aaron shall come and his sons, and they shall take down the covering veil, and they will cover the ark of the testimony with it. Okay, so from Levi, this special family, sons of Kohath, and especially the family of Aaron, which is the family of the high priest. Every time the cloud started moving, then they knew it was time to pack up. And the sons of Kohath specifically were the guys that was carrying all the stuff that is being packed up upon their shoulders. And God said specifically that Aaron shall come, and only Aaron's son. They will actually go into the holiest of holies. Remember, that is a place where you cannot go. Only once a year the high priest on Yom Kippur can enter with the blood. But when it's time to move, God said that the veil that was dividing the holy place from the holiest of holies, that veil is then taken down. And you can imagine standing Aaron and his sons standing before the veil, taking it off those golden rings or the brass rings upon which it was hanging. They wouldn't actually look into the holiest of holies. They would just move forward with the veil and then cover the Ark of the Covenant. Remember, this is the veil that was bringing the division between the holy place and the holiest of holies. And this is also the veil that was torn from top to bottom when Messiah passed away, when he was killed on the execution stake. This veil, remember, had those beautiful colors. We'll get to the colors later on, and those colors are also prophetic of the Messiah, the priestly king who shed his blood. And this veil was then covering the Ark of the Covenant, which is the mercy seat, which is the place where Yahuwah sits, which is his throne. And continuing with Numbers 4, and they shall put thereon the covering of badgers' skins, and they shall spread over it a cloth wholly of blue, and shall put it on the staves thereof. So, the ark is covered with the veil, and then over that is badgers' skins, because badger skins were very tough, very strong. So that was the covering, that was the protection for the Ark of the Covenant during the wilderness journey. And then over all of that is a blue cloth spread. You remember the significance of blue? So the cloth that was chosen to put over over this whole thing, the ark with all the veil and the badger skin, the final cloth that was covering all of that, so that the normal people didn't look upon the ark. It was only meant for it wasn't even meant for the eyes of the high priest. Remember, when he had to go into the holiest of holy, he first had to burn the incense altar and fill the holiest of holy with smoke, so he doesn't look upon Yahuwah and die. So all of this was covered in blue. And remember, blue is all about obedience. All about obedience. Numbers 15:38. Speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations, and they put upon the fringe of the border a ribbon of blue. And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that you may look upon it, and remember all the commandments of Yahuwah, so that you can do them, and that you seek not after your own heart and after your own eyes. So the blue ribbons on the fringes that the sons of Israel had to wear reminded the sons of Israel about obedience to the God that gave them the blue ribbons to wear, and they don't go after their own desires of their own heart, but they would follow the will of Yahuwah. So while the sons of Kohath was carrying the heavy golden ark of the testimony upon their shoulders, it was covered in blue, signifying how this ark is all about the covenant between a God and his people, where the God promises to be their God if they promise to be his people and obey him. But when we are like the sons of Kohath, eager and obedient to do the work of God, carrying on our shoulders. Remember, it's a heavy thing to carry something on your shoulder. Can you imagine how tired you're going to get? To carry that heavy Ark of the Covenant on the staffs that is made of gold across hot, thick sand. Can you imagine? I was in the army, and at one stage we had what we called vastbyt. And it was between Hermanus and Mossel Bay on the beach. And we had to carry our rucksacks, our own luggage. And that came with straps around your shoulders. My back and my neck and my shoulders were cramping. It was such a heavy bag to carry. And to try and walk in that thick sand. And it was hot and we were tired. Oh, it was so difficult. And we only had the vastbyt for one day, from the one town to the next. And I wanted to die. How heavy. What is that song? You ain't heavy, you're my brother. That song where it talks about, I will carry you on my back, I will carry you on my shoulders. And you are heavy, but because you're my brother, you are not really heavy for me. It's difficult in the physical. But so it's also difficult on the spiritual. When you carry something, when you carry God's throne of authority on your shoulders, it makes you be humble and fall down on your knees under the weight of what you are carrying, because it's your responsibility to make sure that the camp of Israel is going to be set up again at the next place where the cloud stops. So we carry the burden, we put the burden, the yoke that Joshua says around our necks, on our shoulders, and we carry the burden with him, praying for and pleading for the sons of Israel, the lost sheep of the house of Israel, to come home to God, spreading the word, spreading the light, and being the salt of the earth. Although it's heavy and although it's not, it's a very unselfish work, and it's a very ungrateful work. Nobody even knows how much time you are spending on your knees for the lost humanity that has forgotten about their God. Nobody might even know how much time you spend reading the word and praying the word over the camp of Israel, like Moses, falling down on your face and pleading with God to save the people and not destroy them. That is the attitude of the sons of Kohath, living amongst the 10 cities of the lost tribe of Ephraim, uniting themselves with the same goal that God has, that Yeshua has. Yeshua says, take my yoke upon you, because it's easy. It may look hard, but once you start to carry that yoke with me, it does become easy, because you unite yourself with me, you ally yourself, you agree to support me in my mission. And what is Yeshua's mission? To bring people back to his Father and to restore the house of Israel back to the throne of David, the everlasting King. All right. So, to be like the sons of Kohath and to be obedient and eager and desiring to do the work of God, we must never allow rebellion or pride or arrogance or human recognition to creep into our hearts, because it's a lonely job doing the job of a priest like the sons of Kohath. To stand in the same kind of service, not saying that you are a priest, but it's a lonely job, and sometimes we want human recognition and we want to be recognized for what we do. And that's exactly what happened, because among the sons of Kohath, there was a few men that stood up. And listen, they wanted recognition for the work which they did for Yahuwah. And these stupid, arrogant, prideful few men amongst the sons of Kohath did something unacceptable and abominable in the eyes of God. And he ended up destroying them. Because if you stand up to do work for God, if you stand up to carry his holy, valuable items on your shoulders, because every person you pray for, every person you teach the scriptures to, every person you share the testimony to or with, is a holy object to God, and you're carrying that person on your shoulders in front of the throne of God. And when you do that work, you are called for a higher position, but it's a lonely position. And like Yeshua said, you are not going to be recognized or thanked by men, because your reward is with God. But when you do that kind of work, when you have that kind of passion for God, and you start feeling a bit of offense or self-pity creeping up in you, we have an example in the Bible. Amongst the son of Kohath, there were the sons of Korach. And the sons of Korach is giving us the example of how people that does serve Yahuwah, how they cannot come out of the calling with which God called them. They cannot try to uplift themselves. They must remain humble, remain in their position, carry that ark, do the holy work, and God will recognize them. Good and faithful servant. Do not go around looking for men to recognize you and trying to put yourself in a higher position. So let's see how these stupid, arrogant and prideful men, what they did, and let's learn from them. Because as always, God reveals the end from the beginning. As among the sons of Kohath today, there's the sons of Korach standing up. And they want recognition, and they want people to follow them, and they want to gather all the people in the camp to follow them and no longer follow Moses. If you allow pride, and remember, self-pity, self-bejammering is a very strong branch of pride. If you allow pride or self-pity because you are working so hard and nobody sees you, if you allow that to begin in your heart, then the end, your end, will be the same as the end of these holy men who became prideful. And these holy men who started feeling sorry for themselves that they are not being recognized for the important work that they were doing. Remember the law of Master Yeshua. Matthew 6 verse 1. Beware of doing your kind deeds before men, in order to be seen by them. Because if you are seen by men doing your good deeds, you have no reward from your Father in heaven. Thus, when you do a kind deed, do not sound a trumpet before you, as the hypocrites do. And another word for hypocrite is actually an actor. In the ancient Greek times, the actors, the Hollywood stars of the times, were called hypocrites. Interesting name. As the hypocrites do in the congregations and in the streets. They want to be praised by men. Truly, I say to you, they have their reward. So when you're praised for something by men, you have your reward, and there's no reward left for you in heaven. But when you do a kind deed, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your kind deed or your hard work shall be in secret. And your Father, who sees in secret, He Himself shall reward you openly. Work like the sons of Kohath. Don't become like the sons of Korach, who wanted recognition for their hard work. Colossians 3:23. Whatever you do, do it heartily. Do it for the Master and not for men, knowing that from the Master you shall receive the reward of the inheritance, because it is the Master Messiah that you serve. Although you work hard amongst people, and although maybe you sacrifice a lot amongst people because you care about people and you care about the lost sheep, you're still serving the Master, and you don't get recognition from people. So we're going to look at Numbers 16 tomorrow, at Korach, the part of the sons of Kohath, who was standing up, wanting to be recognized, not being satisfied for having the holy objects of God on his shoulder, right next to his mouth, he was breathing next to it. What a privilege. But just like for Lucifer, who was next to God, he was the covering cherub. It wasn't enough for him. He wanted more. And that prideful, oh, poor me, I'm so amazing and God is getting all the glory. Oh, Korach, oh, poor me, I work so hard, me and my sons, and Moses gets all the recognition. When that is allowed in your heart, the seed of the serpent is allowed in your heart. And then your holy work, all the hard work you've done, will come to nothing. So tomorrow we'll continue with the sons of Kohath, the sons of Levi, and a specific family, the sons of Korach, that did not have enjoyment enough in working for God, and they wanted more.